What's going on, guys? So about a month ago, and I totally forgot to do a video about it, so sorry about that. But about a month ago, we sold one of our fourplexes. And it was the first time selling a fourplex, and it was the second plex that we ever bought. So today, I wanna walk you guys through what we bought it for, what we sold it for, and basically roughly like what we made on the deal. If you guys like real estate or you like making money, then this video is probably gonna be for you. And if not, then you might still find it interesting. But anyway, that's the plan for today's video. I'm up in the mountains right now in California at a vacation rental in Paso, and I'm gonna do another travel video about this property and about this town in general because I think travel is really interesting, so stay tuned for that. I'll link it up above when it's available. But for today's video, let's talk about the fourplex and just walk you guys through the numbers because it's a really interesting deal. All right, so like I mentioned, I'm here in this vacation rental. Hopefully it's not too echoey or the sound's too off. I'm trying to get better at the sound for you guys. But anyway, so back in 2021, I found this deal pop up that was super interesting. It was in Costa Mesa. And Costa Mesa, for those of you that are not aware or know anything about it, it is adjacent to Newport Beach, California, which is one of the most expensive zip codes in the entire country. We've always done really well in Costa Mesa. It's an area of a lot of growth. There's a lot of trendy restaurants and cool stuff coming in. So it's usually pretty easy leasing the units out over there. And I knew this property was gonna be a good deal because it sat directly behind kind of the main shopping street. And it was a quadplex that had been recently redone and remodeled. So it was pretty much turnkey from the day we bought it. And one other reason why I like properties in good locations like this is you get really good tenants. Even if it's a B-level property or even like an A- property, because it's in a really good area with a lot of demand for rental units, you're probably going to still get a really good tenant pool. Whereas if you bought in a cheaper market or a tertiary market, the quality of the renter pool just really shifts. So that's something else to keep in mind when you guys are looking at your own deals. Now, if you guys have never bought a plex before, or if you've never bought multifamily in general, I have a lot of videos about how to get started in it and just general expectations of, first buying your first property, what you expect to make and all that kind of stuff. But the two most common routes that most people take is either value add or buying it turnkey, which is what we did here for this property in Costa Mesa. When you're first starting out, which is exactly what we were doing when we bought this was our second ever multifamily purchase. We wanted to buy something turnkey because there's less uncertainty going into it. You already know exactly what you're getting, because most of the construction's already been finished for you. You already know what rents you're hitting because usually they're fully leased by the time you buy them. And there's just more assurances going in of what to expect. On the flip side, when you buy something as value add, a good example of that would be the other 12 unit project that we're doing that I just posted about earlier this week, which is more of a flip. And that is a true value add where we bought it. It was in really rough condition and we spent money fixing it up, going through the permitting process, and basically just gutting this thing from the inside out. So those are kind of the two different paths. And so again, when you're just starting out and you're just buying multifamily for the first time, in most situations, you want to go the turnkey route while you kind of learn the business. You learn how to manage the properties, learn how to work with tenants, learn how to lease it. You don't want to take on too much responsibility at the beginning. And there's a pretty big learning curve with doing construction and doing rehabs. So again, my recommendation if you're just starting out is to start with a turnkey deal or something that's close to turnkey that needs minimal work. So I'm always out looking for deals, and this one happened to pop up. It was a great opportunity like I talked about, but I had recently put a bunch of money in our other Costa Mesa fourplex, the first one that we ever bought, so I was pretty tight on cash. I went to some family members, some other investors, and basically got a group of people together to pull some money together and buy this building. Again, it had just been renovated and remodeled, and it was done by somebody who we knew about. We knew that they did pretty good work, so we felt confident going in that they did the right thing. Because that's the other thing you don't necessarily know buying turnkey. Some people, and especially like syndicate groups, come in and they just do the cheapest finish as possible. It's really just to flip and make money, right? Just turn the units as fast as possible and get the profit as soon as possible. Whereas other sellers and other groups will spend a little bit more money and take a little bit more time making sure that it's done right. And those are the groups that you want to buy from. And if you work with a broker or a real estate agent, somebody who's a little bit more experienced, they can usually point you in the right direction of which groups to buy from and which ones to avoid. We knew that this guy had done a pretty good job. I would say that he does kind of like B+ finishes, not A+, but good enough to get really good rents. And again, the location of this one was hard to beat, so we had to pounce on it. Okay, so I got my computer open. Let me walk you through the numbers and kind of give you a full breakdown of the property, just so you guys can see what we're talking about. So again, we bought it fully remodeled and fully leased out, so it's fully stabilized by the time we picked it up. So we bought the property for $2,472,500. And that was a slight price reduction. I believe we were at about $2.5 million. We got a price reduction because if I remember correctly, one of the water heaters hadn't been replaced when the other three had. So we knew that that was a little bit of work going in. We didn't really save money because we still had to do that work, but we got a little bit of a credit off the purchase price. Now again, that was November 2021. We had a few tenants turn in between then and when we sold it this year. And one of them, so this was crazy. One of the units had a group leave for Texas because they got a new job out there. From when they moved out, it only sat on the market for 3 days until we released at $500 more per month than the person that was in before that. And that's why I say like location is so important, because I knew this being behind a major street like that with a lot of retail, restaurants, and just a lot of stuff within walking proximity, I knew this was gonna be a really good deal. And it proved itself when we had our first unit come available. So anyway, fast forward to a month ago, we closed in October 2024, and we sold it for $2.9 million to an all cash buyer. We probably could have pushed it to 3 to 3.1 million, but we wanted to sell this in time to 1031 the money into another deal that we were chasing at the time. We did end up buying the other deal, so I'll be doing some videos on that, but we needed the money to close in this before the other one. We could have done what's called a reverse 1031 exchange, but we wanted to keep it simple and just do a proper 1031 exchange. So with the all cash buyer stepping forward, we gave them a little bit of a discount. So we ended up holding this property for just shy of 3 years, and we made $427,500 on the delta between the two sales. Now that doesn't factor in the rental income, the depreciation that we got against taxes, and some other benefits of holding the real estate. But at a real high level, it was just shy of $500,000 in only 3 years. And again, there's additional benefits on top of that and other things to factor in, and that doesn't include closing costs, but a pretty good little pop for just a short hold like that. Now, the reason why I was talking about value add versus buying something that's turnkey earlier was because if we had bought this as a property that was more of a value add play, we really could have pumped those numbers. I believe the person before us bought it in the low millions. So there's definitely a lot of room for forced depreciation, which would have been done by adding value through construction and turning the units ourselves. But again, at the time, we were just getting started in commercial real estate investing. We didn't really know a lot about construction yet. We had done some, personal projects on personal residences, but nothing to this scale. So by buying it turnkey, this one and the first one, we did really learn a lot that I think would have been more challenging to learn had we also taken on a construction project at the same time. And this actually led to doing deals down in like Dana Point, for example, which did a full video series about, where we did, a full gut and remodel there. And then also the 12-unit ongoing project, which I've been posting about recently, and some upcoming projects that we have in the pipeline that I can't wait to share with you guys. So again, at the end of the day, running through the numbers once more, it was a really good deal overall, not only from a learning experience, but also for a pretty quick return in just a couple of years. Now, I post a lot of real estate content. So again, guys, if you haven't seen the other videos on the channel, please do go check them out. There's a lot that can be learned, and I'm coming out with new videos all the time. I also have other videos about just making money in general. So go check those out if you're curious. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much it for today's video. If you're not subscribed yet, if you would consider, I'd really appreciate it. But if not, no worries. Hopefully I'll see you on a future video. But that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.